Support provided by the Chesapeake and Newport News with chef-centric farm-to-table dining. thechesapeake.org.
Hi friends, Jay Sennett. Welcome to the Jazz Kitchen and to another edition of Cooking with Jay. Hope all of you are doing well. As always, thanks for watching. Today, I'm going to prepare for you the meatball. The meatball. We all love meatballs. You know, well, not can't speak for you, but a lot of us love meatballs, right? But meatballs are deceptively simple to make. It can be too dry, so texturally it's a little strange. The flavor, obviously, first and foremost, what kind of flavor do you have? What flavor profiles are you creating with these meatballs? So for me, texture and taste. Not necessarily in that order. Taste, then texture, okay? Both are, they kind of parallel with me. All right, so I'm gonna show you how I make my version of meatballs. And when a lot of these recipes tap into some of the same things, but I make a few little minor adjustments with mine. So you can watch how I make these and maybe try them and see what you think. All right, first and foremost, I start with the protein, the meat. I use ground pork and ground beef, okay? So it's about a 50-50% mixture, okay? And this right here, this is panko breadcrumbs, okay? This is about a half a cup of panko breadcrumbs, maybe a little bit more than about a cup, and about a quarter cup of milk, okay? And I mix the panko breadcrumbs around in this milk and let it sit for a few minutes. Now, why do I do that? An old little trick. It helps bring moisture to your meatballs, okay? Then I have some Parmesan cheese and a lot of other things here we're gonna hear. So let's put the egg in, okay? I think I'm going to use 2 eggs in this since I'm using 2 pounds of meat. There's a pound each of pork and beef, okay? I have a couple of cloves of garlic right here, minced up, that I'm adding. So the real deal, fresh garlic, okay, finely minced up. I have about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, okay. Now I want to add these breadcrumbs that have been soaking in milk for a few minutes. Panko breadcrumbs, plain panko breadcrumbs, marinating in this milk. So we want to add some Parmesan cheese. Okay. How much? Maybe a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. All right. I'm a visual guy, so I'm bad at giving exact, measurements, but that's approximate. You can see that. I add a little bit of smoked paprika, about a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I get some black pepper, healthy dose of black pepper. So we have a small teaspoon of black pepper, and we have a couple of teaspoons of salt. Now I'm gonna go through this salt 1 or 2 more times as I mix up this meat, okay? I'm gonna add a little touch of hot sauce. You're thinking, what? Now, the pepper choice, I have this black garlic ramen pepper, okay? Or just plain black pepper. I like to put a little bit of that in there, but you don't have to. Black pepper plain is cool. And last but not least, I minced up some onions, okay? Yellow onion. All right, just put all of them in there, it's no biggie. All right, it's not that much. So some yellow onion. I have the oven preheating at about 425. And the last addition, some fresh herbs. I have some basil, fresh basil out of the garden right here, and some oregano, okay? In there like that. I chopped it up. Now comes the messy part. I'm gonna leave this. I use my hands, all right, to mix all of this together. So we have a couple of eggs, some panko breadcrumbs, some onions minced up, garlic, salt and pepper, smoked paprika, a touch of hot sauce. No, it's not going to make them hot. It's an underlying flavor profile. Okay, and I didn't put that much in here anyway. And some Parmesan cheese. All right, now here's where I want to add some more salt and some more black pepper. All right, turn this off here. Okay. Yep, this is the messy part of it, but you know, get your hands in it. It's all right. It's okay to put your hands in your food, you know, particularly if you're the only one eating. So, oh, all right, getting there. I want to add a little bit more salt. Okay, so I'm putting some sea salt in here, a little bit more black pepper. So when you mix it up, if you don't keep putting that salt in there, you're not going to get a lot of that flavor, right? The salt brings to your food. And in this, with all this protein, so you have an array of seasonings, and you have some fresh herbs, you have some garlic, you have onion, Parmesan cheese, a couple of eggs. Okay, now we are almost ready to make the meatball. Almost. All right, and one way to decide if you have this mixed enough, the meats are different colored. One is darker pink than the other. Okay, look through here when you're mixing this meat in. Big piece of onion. Don't put that in there. You know, you probably can't see it too well on this camera, but if you have like one side that's really bright over here and the other side dark over here, it's not mixed evenly. Okay, so you want to blend, make sure that color of the protein is blended in. I'm using pork, a pound of pork, ground pork, and a pound of ground beef. Okay, about 80% fat beef. All right, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to make the meatballs. I'm going to bring my trusty sheet pan over here. I have some parchment paper down there, and that's basically, the parchment paper is just so you don't make a mess. It's easy to clean up afterward. You can cook it on parchment paper. All right, now I want to add a little bit of olive oil to my hand. Okay, mix up. Now let's start forming these meatballs. Now, how big do you make the meatball? Bigger than a golf ball, but not the size of a baseball. Okay, like plop. That's a good meatball right there. So bigger than a golf ball, but not as big as a baseball. So somewhere in between. All right, now these meatballs are going to be nice and tender. Okay. And here's one more thing, very important. So I'm making these meatballs. I'll make some marinara sauce. Okay. So I'm not pan cooking the meatballs. I am baking them. Okay. Baking these meatballs, and a little bit more olive oil on the hand here. Yikes. And then once I make the marinara sauce, I bake the meatballs at about 425 for about 20-25 minutes, okay? 20-25 minutes at 425. And then one of the things I do when I take the meatballs out, I have the marinara sauce on the stove in the pot that I just cooked, and it's simmering. Then I take the meatballs and I add the meatballs to the marinara sauce. Okay? I'm almost done here. All right. I'm going to fill up this pan, but they are looking marvelous. Okay? Fantastic looking meatballs. Again, not quite a golf ball, but not a baseball either. Okay? Oh, this is going to be a big one. So reduce that size a little bit. Because you make them too big, then they're going to cook. You might not get them cooked properly. So bigger than a golf ball, but not as big as a baseball. All right, we're almost done here. With this, I wanted to take you through the whole process, how I put this together. Okay, almost done. Now, if your meatballs feel too wet, okay, then you can add some more panko. Right, add some more panko breadcrumbs. If they feel too dry, and they won't, if you follow the recipe that I just put together here. Okay, and the last one's going to be a junior meatball. A junior meatball, like so. All right, let me wipe off the hands. Da, 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 da. Okay. You see these meatballs, they look beautiful, beautiful. All right, so keep them spread out a little bit. It's not like you're frying something in a saucepan where you have to worry about steaming. It's not going to cook like that, so you don't have to worry about that if they're too close. Okay, so I have my oven preheated to 425, and we're going to bake these meatballs for about 20-25 minutes, okay? And again, one of the things I do when I have my marinara sauce, you don't have to do this, but this is if you want to make some smoking spaghetti sauce. You know, you make your marinara sauce when you take the meatballs out. Put the meatballs in that pan with that marinara sauce. Now, obviously, all these meatballs, you need a big pan of marinara sauce, okay, so you don't run the sauce over the edges. And then just cover those meatballs with that sauce. Now, the meatballs are pretty much done by this point. It's okay if they can cook just a little bit longer on a low simmering heat in that marinara sauce for about 10-15 more minutes. But make sure you keep covering them with that sauce. But the flavor on these meatballs holds its own. You don't need the sauce. So you can, if you want to use the meatballs in some other capacity outside of marinara sauce, you can. So I'm going to put these in the oven. All right. Like so. And bake about 20-25 minutes. And then we're going to take them out. And I'll show you. Now, this is part of the show where this interesting editing takes place, because I'm going to disappear until these meatballs get done, about 20-25 minutes, but it's only going to seem like a split second to you. I'll be walking back in the frame, and then we'll pull the meatballs out of the oven. Okay? So just a second or two, you're going to see me again. All right. Okay. See? It's just like a split second. Yes. All right. Let's get our meatballs out of the oven. I think they're done. Okay. Ay, yo. Turn that off. Look at those. Now, and they smell amazing. You know, what I want to do is just, I'm going to burn my mouth here. Oh, I love it when I get it right. But I've been making these things for so long. And it took me a long time to really just master the flavor profiles that really appeal to me. And I think you'll like these too. So there's a lot of good flavor in here. They're moist. So just go back to the beginning of the video if you can't remember how I made that. Just watch all the herbs, from fresh basil, fresh oregano, some smoked paprika, Worcestershire sauce, some Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, of course, garlic, some grated up onions, yellow onions, eggs, panko breadcrumbs that I soaked in milk a little bit. That helps make the meatballs tender. So that's what's On the menu today, on this edition of Cooking with Jay, Jazzy J's Meatballs. Right? Now you can, like I said, what I do, like make my own marinara sauce and then put these meatballs in that pan and just let them just bathe in that marinara sauce. And you're going to have yourself a smoking dish right there. All right, I'm Jay Sennett, Cooking with Jay, Sunday evening starting at 6 p.m. on the WHO Public Media Facebook page. And you can scroll down and scroll down and scroll down and see previous episodes, or you can go to the WHO Public Media YouTube channel to see archive editions of the show. If you have any questions or comments, drop me an email to j.sennett, jae.sinnett @whrv.org. Don't forget my Send It In Session Jazz Show on WHRV-FM Monday through Thursday nights from 9 until 1, Saturday mornings 1 until 5, Sunday afternoons from 1 until 5. I also host the very soulful, fun R&B Chronicles, Friday nights from 7 until 8. I do a lot. Yes, I do a lot. Now I want to thank the Chesapeake for underwriting Cooking with Jay. Thank you so much. Your underwriting support is greatly appreciated. I thank you for watching, and until the next edition of Cooking with Jay, I'm going to go have my meatballs. Be safe out there, friends. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Support provided by the Chesapeake in Newport News, catering to the palate of every single resident. More at thechesapeake.org.